Hello and welcome to the Empower Couples podcast, where here you get modern, non-boring relationship advice for you and your partner to communicate like pros, fight smarter, and stay on the same team no matter the challenge that you face. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron Freeman.
And I'm Jocelyn Freeman, but you all just know us as the Freemans.
This episode is about why you both need to have time with friends outside of the relationship, but certain types of friends.
Yes, and you've heard us before on various episodes talking about how it's important that you each have some sense of alone time and individual fulfillment. And we've alluded to in a couple of episodes the importance and power of friends, but we want to talk about this specifically for a couple of reasons. One being personal and one being more something we were inspired by. I'll share the inspired by. So I was hearing an interview with Dr. John Gray. If you're not familiar with him, he wrote the legendary book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Like, I remember my mom had that on her bookshelf when I was like 10. It's been around a long time.
Sorry, of all the things you said, the only thing I could hear was legend, wait for it, dairy.
It really is. I mean, so many books have been sold, but he does a lot of work in terms of like biology and how biology impacts relationships. And he was reminding me about his work really focusing on how, what he says from his research, that men biologically need to be around other men to boost their testosterone, which is so important for men to feel kind of in their power, empowered, healthy, balanced. You know, it's just one of the dominant hormones for men.
I also think partly, when I say free, I don't mean because you're trapped in a relationship, but there is a certain freedom of expression, freedom to be, almost a certain way of play that makes itself available with your close friends. But we're also going to talk about specific types of friends that isn't necessarily always there in your romantic relationship.
Yes, true. So that's for men. And then he also talks about women needing to be around other women to boost estrogen, which is how women feel more in their feminine, more balanced, more healthy. It's the dominant hormone for women, right? So this is based on his work. This is what he studies. And it was really interesting how much he emphasized that this time is so important to couples feeling balance and harmony within their relationship, not just emotionally because they go out and they feel fulfilled, you know, men with other men, women with other women, but also sexually, how much it impacts their sexual relationship. Ooh. And so if men aren't around other men, it impacts the way they show up in the bedroom, and same thing for women. So, I mean, it is beneficial all around from his work. But also, Aaron, I thought from a personal perspective, do you want to share just what even you've been realizing and we've been talking about as we get ready for parenting and like really preparing for getting some of this separate time?
Yeah, for me, I'm really excited for an event that's coming up. Well, number one, it's the shower for you that's coming up when you're getting together with women for that. But it started out to be by default that the men of the partners that were coming in were just going to be in town here in Arizona. And so you had mentioned, why not get the guys together? And then the more I thought about it, I said, oh, this is going to actually be a great opportunity to just do things as men. And a lot of them are my closest friends, and so we're going to have time to hike in the morning together. Then we're going to really connect over cacao and just really open up honest, authentic conversations. And I know I'm sharing the details, but then I thought it'd be fun to go back to a time where I used to play games with friends, because that was really fun for me. We're all going to have a Mario Kart tournament, for the day, and order a bunch of good food and some desserts, and all of that sounds really fun to me. And there is this feeling of that kind of freedom that I was talking to you about, and this sense of play, certainly having the video games and the games and the hikes be a part of this. And so that's something I've been looking forward to that I didn't necessarily plan out myself, but I realize how much I am excited for it and how beneficial it's going to be for me.
Totally. And I know in our relationship, we have been in seasons where we've been almost more isolated, just the two of us, and we can feel it. Like we can feel a difference when we're just always together and it's just us versus when we each are getting separateness time with friends. And I've been intentionally, especially since we moved back to Arizona, setting up time with girlfriends, both, small gatherings in person or just even connecting with them on the phone. It's been really important to me. And I know that's something we want to maintain even when baby Freeman comes here, like really making sure that we each get alone time, but also time with friends. Mm-hmm. And making sure, that you get to be with the guys, I get to be with the girls, because I think we come back with our cups more full. And there's also, like you said, Aaron, there's just different ways of being that get to show up when you're with, like when I'm with the girls, it's like a different way of being than when I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if the right word is judgment free, but sometimes it can feel like that. I think for us, no one should really be together as much as we are.
We're together a lot, yes.
Not just a lot, but like literally like 99% of the time.
Besides sleeping and going to the bathroom.
And then you go to the store sometimes.
Yes.
Like by yourself. Like, guys, this is literally the only times that we're separate. And I say that not to be necessarily funny, but if we weren't in the work of relationships, if we didn't see our relationship as the actual place to fulfill what our life is here for, then we would probably be in some struggles.
Well, and we hear
because when the challenges do come up, we know that there's something there for us to learn because we're in this work to then share it with other couples.
That's true.
And so there's definitely a principle in the assessment we do about closeness and separateness. And when you have too much closeness, you can feel a level of dependency as well as be more reactive to one another. And I think that's what a lot of couples felt during the lockdown season. They were just together so much. And then on the other side of separateness is you start to build this distance, between each other. And for some people, maybe you start to get emotional needs fulfilled, somewhere else. So that's kind of a slippery slope. So there is a real balance between both of those. And that separateness is really, number one, you do want to have time for yourself and with friends. And I think the last thing I was going to bring up about that, in both cases, for myself and friends, there's a certain reconnection to my intuition that happens. That in a relationship, especially the amount of time we're together and how you're assertive and a leader, I can maybe forego my own intuition to go with what kind of you want to.
Yeah, that
and
makes
so
sense.
there's a reconnection to self, not only with the time by oneself, but with other men that I think bring back that, you said sense of power, but I also think it's connection to self and intuition.
Yeah, I really love that. And before we go into a few traits we recommend you focus on with friends, because it's not just any type of friends, certain types and traits. But before that, I want to underline something you said about reactivity towards each other. And that's something we've been noticing with some of the couples we're privately coaching when they aren't getting that time around friends, the right type of friends. They are showing up less than their best and more reactive in the relationship because it's kind of like, gosh, I'm either around you all the time, the kids all the time, or working all the time. And don't get me wrong, we know you love your kids, you love your partner, and hopefully you love your work. But if you aren't getting that time to just fill your cup with friends, it's going to impact the way you're showing up completely.
Well, so let me share about the type of friend here. The type of friend that we're not talking about is a friend that is going to validate and amplify your concerns, your complaints, and your reasons. So there's been a different season for me. I think in all of our relationships, we've transformed these to all be these types of relationships. But there was a past where had I shared something about, let's say you, because I was just feeling a struggle about something, these friends would have said, no matter what I said, they would have had my back and said, yeah, you're right. She's in the wrong. She shouldn't have said that. And that's not the type of validation you really want from this type of friend that we're talking about. You want a friend that says, hey, yeah, I totally hear you, but also knows what you're committed to and is not just going to validate any complaint, or the only word that came to me was degradation of how you speak about your partner.
Mm-hmm.
And not that any of us do that, but you get a sense of that type of energy. You don't want that energy fueled that says, yeah, you're right and your partner's wrong.
Mm-hmm, completely. And I think some other types of friends to really make sure that you have are friends that are empowered in life. They're living a happy life. They don't go and just complain and talk about all the things going wrong and why they feel powerless in their life. You want to be around people who are empowered and they are taking action that's in alignment with what they really want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I think, a big type. And then also the type of friends that remind you of who you want to be and they challenge you to be better. Like you said, like they're not just validating kind of your complaints. They challenge you. They call you out even sometimes.
Yeah.
At least that's the type of friends I like to keep around.
Yeah, for sure. The sort of opposite of this as well. I don't know why I'm going towards the opposites, but not someone that just distracts you. So I think what I'm going towards is there has to be a certain level of intent that's also there in your connection with these types of friends. Again, in the past, I could have got with some friends that said, you know what? Yeah, let's get together and we'll go to the bar and we'll drink, or just do things that just totally distract or numb you out and are not moving towards any real progress. And when I say progress, it doesn't have to mean just personal development, but it's, hey, and this is what I do with some of my friends. We're going to go ride quads, or we're going to go shooting in the desert. It's going to be something that has purpose and meaning to it. Then the activity doesn't necessarily matter. The activity is something that we like to do, but we know that we're doing this for, a purpose.
Yeah, and ideally, of course, there's the times where you're just having fun with friends, and that's needed.
Part of the purpose, right? Let's have fun. We know that we've been, or you, friend, have been feeling something. Let's go out here, do this positive thing. We'll have some fun. And not something that's going to lead towards potential also bad decisions,
right, that
will, again, do something to create disconnect or withdraw from a partner, as well as from your own intuition again.
Yeah, so there's the time for just fun, but then there's also friends that you can have meaningful conversations with. I think that's really important. And they ideally inspire you. The way they talk about their own partner makes you go, man, I want to be better, and again, it invites you to keep being the best version of yourself. And I think what's important to pay attention to is your energy when you leave them, that you don't leave drained. I had a friend recently share that she felt like with some of her other friends, the relationship was really changing, and that when she left, she felt from the conversation like her energy was depleted. And she was kind of like, wow, I feel like my relationships are really evolving. So you want to keep friends around you that raise your energy. You leave more fulfilled, because then you're going to show up better for your partner, for your kids, for yourself, right?
I'd also add then friends that are accepting and focus more on, I was going to say the things you have in common rather than the things you don't. That's something that's been big nowadays, right? You can have best friends, family members that have been getting into this two-sided duality on pick something that's going on in the world, and that's all they focus on, and then that degrades the friendship and the relationship, and then it lowers your energy, as you said. So it's got to be accepting, and not just the things in common, but I think open to, this is a newer word that I came across, discourse and dialogue. So even if you don't agree, friends that are accepting and open to just have conversations, and no matter where you stand and how you see it, you don't have to spend too much time on it, but you're still going to have all these other points. It's not going to keep on focusing on this thing about, well, you don't see it like me and you got to get on my side. And these are probably not friendships that are going to fulfill you, as you mentioned, so that you can come back to the relationship feeling fulfilled and connected for yourself.
Exactly. So the main takeaway from today's episode is that it is important for you as individuals and for your relationship to have outside friends, both individual friends, and then also that could be couple friends. Like, we keep great couples around us. So it's like, all right, men go be with men sometimes, women go be with women sometimes, and then couples coming together as well. But really pay attention to the type of people that you're each spending time with, making sure that they have the traits for you to show up better in your relationship. And with that, we really hope you took away a great reminder from today's episode. Go set up some time with your friends, boost your testosterone, boost your estrogen, boost your happiness, and show up better in your relationship. Make sure you tag us on an Instagram story about the episode. And as always, if you haven't read our book, The Argument Hangover, make sure you go to theargumenthangover.com to read our book to communicate better and fight smarter with your partner. We love you guys, and we'll talk to you on the next episode.